This is one of Engine DIY's sleek Bluetooth Tesla coils. After you plug in the power supply and screw in the discharge needle, which is right on the top here, you can adjust these three knobs, whether you want music or just sparks, larger or smaller sparks, or higher or lower frequency. I'll go over that in a moment. You also get what they call a lightning rod, which can conduct the electricity in the air, and an assortment of 4 neon bulbs that are different colors and will ignite into color without being plugged in, just by the electricity surrounding the rod when it is plugged in. So we'll go over those real quickly here. So let's turn up the frequency and the power. As you can see, adjusting those is pretty impressive. Now if we hold the bulbs near them, you should be able to see them light up. Which in fact, you do see them light up. So now, you can also see it conduct on the lightning rod here. Sometimes it is a little difficult, but you should be able to see it zip through the conductive parts of the lightning rod. Now we can play a simple song on the Tesla coil. Adjusting the length of the arcs will adjust the volume of the music that you play. This is the middle knob for anyone wondering. And once again, the very left knob, which is more like a switch, differentiates between music or arcs. And those are the 3 knobs. I hope you guys enjoyed this overview review of the Engine DIY sleek Tesla coil. I thought it was pretty cool myself. For the decent price that you can get it at, you get a lot out of it. This is one of Engine DIY's Tesla coils. And what is something different about this Tesla coil than some other Tesla coils you might see online? Well, it comes in a clear acrylic housing here, and you get to screw this together yourself, so you can see the laser cut acrylic, and the nuts and bolts provided allow you to, well, screw a housing around this Tesla coil, which is really interesting. Now, instead of a discharge needle, this has a very thin copper wire, which stems from this secondary coil right here. And you can see the primary coil is this thicker piece right here. And since the housing is clear and acrylic, you can see the inside of all the electronics, which is very interesting. We have 3 ports on the right side here. The cable going in right now is the power port. On the very right side we have the audio port. On the very left side we have an on and off switch. So let's take this for a test run. Without the audio switch plugged in, we can, or the audio port I should say, we can turn it on and we'll just get static. And interestingly enough, this will start spinning around, which is very, very interesting, and that is because of the ions in the air, because this is creating plasma, which is allowing it to turn in sort of a circular fashion there. Let's go ahead and power that off. Now let's see, the next most interesting thing is if we plug in the audio right here. Now we can turn it on and play music. Now that is 100% coming out of the wire. If you turn this off, it stops playing. Now, what is very cool about this Tesla coil in particular is that it does not matter what kind of audio is played through this device. Normally, Tesla coils require square wave music, which is a very simplified version of any song. However, this device can use any sort of audio input. It can even play voices or complicated songs, anything that you desire. So I think that is very, very cool about this Tesla coil in particular. Overall, this Tesla coil is not that expensive, and for everything you get, I think it is a real steal for like the quality that you get here. And if you turn off the lights, you can really see that wire go round and around with the sparks off the end, and it is just so brilliant to see that, especially when you turn off the lights. And with you being able to use any song that you please, it really just expands the capabilities of this Tesla coil more than other ones per se. So yeah, all in all, I think this is a really great Tesla coil, and I do recommend it if you are interested in a Tesla coil, but maybe don't want to spend boatloads of money on one. Thanks for watching. This is one of Engine DIY's Tesla coils that you can get on their website. It is a fairly simple model, but it is very impressive for what you get. Out of the box, you plug in the power supply, which supplies power to the device, and you need to screw in the discharge needle in the top here, which is just a screws right into the top. At the front, we have 3 knobs to adjust the Tesla coil. We have a music or arc switch, which I'll explain, and we also have a power or frequency knob. So for the power one, that adjusts how large the arcs are, and the frequency knob adjusts how often the arcs are shown, which you guys will see in just a minute. And this model is very interesting because you can actually see inside of the model. So you can see the heat sinks on the bottom here, and you can see the capacitors and a bunch of other circuits through the clear acrylic, which I think is just very cool. You're also supplied with some neon bulbs, which will ignite in different colors near the device when it is powered on. So let's go ahead and test this thing out. I think that is just so cool. But what makes it even more interesting is that it can play music on it. So what you have to do is set it to the music setting on the left here and Bluetooth it to any device you desire. Then you need to play a square wave song, and it'll sound like this. But before I play it, just so you know, the power knob adjusts the sound of the song. As you can see, it is a very brilliant display of electricity, and it is just so cool that you can get this in just a small little device here. So many different features. Overall, I think this is one of their best devices for the price, as you can see the inside of all the electronics, and it is very small, but it packs a very loud song inside of it. By that I mean that the quality of the parts is so good, so you can hear the music very clearly, and the arcs are very brilliant, and they are, I think, shooting up to 10 centimeters, which is what the website claims, and I think that is pretty accurate, to say the least. So all in all, I really like this device, and if you guys are interested as well, you should definitely go check it out on Engine DIY's website. This is a Tesla coil from Engine DIY's website, and this Tesla coil is very, very cool because you can build it yourself. What I mean by that is all these electrical components you see on the circuit board here were soldered there by myself. They come in a bag along with the other components needed, like this pre-wound coil, secondary coil, and you end up making the whole thing yourself, which is super fun, super interesting. The only thing that you're going to need is a soldering iron. Just takes a little bit of practice to get good at it, and it is a very fun learning experience. So to describe the components here, we have an audio in, we have a power in, we have two heat sinks on two of these electrical components here. We have the primary and the secondary coil with a discharge wire. We have 4 standoffs, and on the bottom you can see all those soldering connections I've made. We have some resistors and we have some capacitors, and that is basically it. The device also comes with an audio cable and a power supply. Now, let's go ahead and plug this in. Plugging it in, you can see the wire will want to start spinning around or moving, which is very cool, just because of how the plasma and ions are coming off the wire like that is moving. And just to note, you should not touch these heat sinks because they're very hot, especially after running it for a few minutes, which is another important note. I would not run this for more than a few minutes because you could burn yourself on these heat sinks. And before I wrap up this video, it is also worth noting that you can actually play music using this port here connecting to another device. All in all, while you may not get the loudest sounds from this Tesla coil or the most impressive sparks, there's one selling point here, or one point that is important if you are interested in this, and is that you can build this yourself, and it is a very cool experience, and it is a cool model to have like on your desk or anything of the sort. So yeah, all in all, this thing is pretty good quality, and the components used allow you to solder it all yourself and have a cool, fun experience while doing it as well, and create something rewarding in the end. So I hope you enjoyed this review, and if you're interested, check out Engine DIY's website for a model like this or similar models.